8 seconds of logo. Wait a minute. Only 8 seconds? And only one logo? Damn you, 2024, for not being 1989. A club with this many people outside and inside still has a parking spot this close. Roadhouse, thy name is subtlety. As far as we know, this lady doesn't die from heat exhaustion. Patrick Swayze is not dancing in this scene.
Okay, Dalton. I've always wanted to try you.
Lucky for Tillman, the night he shows up to offer Dalton a job, a situation breaks out so Tillman can see Dalton in action.
What are you guys, stepping dwarfs or something?
That would be tough considering there's only 6 men standing at the entrance. Now, I'm only human, so I did get an erection after watching manly man Dalton sewing up his own stab wound, but it was sadly tempered by the fact that he wasn't brave enough to clean and disinfect that first.
It used to be a sweet deal. Now it's the kind of place that they sweep up the eyeballs after closing.
Well, that's just dumb. Why wait until after closing? Do you want people slipping over f***ing eyeballs all night? Amateur hour over here.
Wade Garrett's the best.
Wade Garrett's getting old.
Sam Elliott was 44 during the filming of this movie, and Patrick Swayze was 37, so forgive me if I have issues accepting what this movie thinks is old.
$5,000 up front, $500 a night cash.
Wait a minute, we're about to find out this bar is in Jasper, Missouri? Jasper, population of 1,016 in 1990, Missouri? How the f*** is a bar in Jasper home of 2 cows and a disappointing Applebee's, Missouri, clearing enough money to justify the amount Tillman is spending on Dalton, even as a temporary measure? He said it was near Kansas City, but how much overflow is Jasper doesn't even have a Walmart, Missouri realistically getting?
I've got your plane ticket right here.
I don't fly. Too dangerous.
Get it? Because you'd think he'd be used to danger in this line of work, and flying doesn't seem as dangerous as getting stabbed. This movie is witty.
By the way, Oscar, bandstand's all yours.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm out of here.
Dalton's new employer is apparently impressed by Dalton's lack of loyalty to his current employer, instead of taking that as a huge, I'm going to ditch your ass for the next highest bidder red flag that it is.
Don't come back, Peckerhead.
Peckerhead. What the f***? Why are the credits still going? Did the 8 seconds of logo make you think you'd get a pass on 8 minutes of credits? Think again, Peckerhead.
You know, I get off at 2, and I just love to get you off about a half an hour after that.
Missouri gentleman. Also, I call bullshit on this guy getting her off in and or lasting half an hour.
Hey, vodka rocks. What do you say you and me get nipple to nipple?
Is a line now forever in the annals of cinema history.
Dalton.
Oh my God. I heard of you.
The movie presents a world where there is a famous professional bouncer. Being famous as a bouncer sounds about as much of a possibility as being a famous dirty dancer. Considering we don't hear the inevitable outrage, we're expected to believe that somebody accepts this beer that is 55% foam.
Killed a guy once. Ripped his throat right out.
That's ridiculous. Ripped a guy's throat out. There's no way that is foreshadowing something that will actually happen in this movie later. Could you imagine?
For $20, you can kiss him.
This guy will get beaten up for not having the requisite funds for this transaction. We can't show it, but he should have been beaten up the second he decided to grab them. He paid for kisses, not squeezes. Yes, that's the real issue here. Dalton manages to dodge the flying beer bottle. Fine, but he also manages to mind control the ricocheting glass to go in every direction but his. The most unbelievable thing about this perfectly choreographed bar fight is that the band is still playing the entire fucking time. And if that shit gets sinned on the Titanic, then it sure as fuck is getting sinned here.
You know, I heard you had balls big enough to come in a dump truck, but you don't look like much to me.
I mean, my balls aren't exactly the size of soccer balls, but I wouldn't have an issue emptying them into a dump truck. Filling a dump truck, yes, but that's not what this gentleman said. Buying a car, buying tires, renting a room. Excitement? Then Gazzara plays a character with a creepy smile cliche.
I swear he does that just to piss me off.
Who does?
Brad Wesley.
There has never been a less threatening name in the history of movie villains than Brad Wesley.
Calling me sir is like putting an elevator in an outhouse. Don't belong.
Not with that attitude, it doesn't. Your outhouse ambitions are disappointing, sir. I'd love to pay attention to whatever Tim Muscly Dalton is saying, but why is there so much goddamn sawdust on the floor?
All you have to do is follow 3 simple rules. 1, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. 2.
Wait, I thought expect the unexpected was rule 2. Aren't we on rule 3 now? I don't think this is going to be simple.
2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, what the f*** does that mean, Dalton? Would you care to define absolutely necessary?
3, be nice.
Now that the 3 simple rules have been properly codified, I look forward to replaying this moment every time Dalton fails to follow them.
Let it unlet it.
Since there is currently only 1 coffee pot behind the bar, I'm not sure this question is relevant.
Come on, motherfucker.
Weird Al Stabovic might have deserved it, but he's also resulted in Dalton breaking one of his own rules in less than 3 minutes. Yes, you might believe pulling a knife counts as absolutely necessary, but then why didn't Dalton throw his hands in New York when he got stabbed by that first guy? Based on the amount of hardware that gets broken in this bar, I'm guessing the town's wood craftsman is even richer than Brad Wesley.
Escort this gentleman to the door.
Does no one just call the cops, like, ever? That guy had a fucking knife. So Dalton clearly saw this vehicle abuse coming. That's why we see him buy a junk car and keep his Mercedes hidden. But if he knows this is going to happen, why buy a fucking car at all? Why not carpool or even park the car somewhere else entirely?
Strong man read poetry because strong man has secret depth and feelings.
You should not have done that, Dalton.
Yeah, why is that?
Shouldn't have, that's all.
Instead of being useful, Carrie just continues to be vague about why firing Pat was a bad idea, as if she knows the movie isn't ready to reveal he's the nephew of the villain yet. See, he's driving recklessly as if he owns the road because he owns the city. Honestly, I think this movie stole the nuance for this villain from an episode of the A-Team. Possibly the only time in American history that the nation gasped as a whole, wishing they were a pair of sweatpants. Also, between Swayze, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Van Damme, the 80s sure was the decade of testosterone-fueled shirtless calisthenics, wasn't it?
This summer, Patrick Swayze is so hot that even an old-timey Missouri farmer can't resist the opportunity to f him.
Problem? Here's no problem. Just a little mistake is all.
Semantics.
What do you want, to kiss and make up?
Play it.
2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clay.
This movie had Kelly fucking Lynch this whole time and is just choosing to introduce her character at the 39-minute mark?
Double deuce.
Nice place. They send a lot of business my way.
They do? Considering how unwilling they are to call the police, I guess it's decent of them to get patrons medical aid.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
This sounds profound, but it is, in fact, dumb.
You'd like to stop by the Double Deuce sometime. I could buy you a cup of coffee.
Sure, let's just bring this woman you like to the most dangerous bar in town while you're making waves and people are wrecking your car. I'm sure there's no chance anyone will take advantage of this and try to harm her to get to you. No chance at all. I would like to say these ridiculous trucks with their ridiculous giant tires were an 80s thing, but no, there are still plenty of men with small d syndrome around to keep the giant tire people in business for the rest of eternity.
Everybody pay? Does a hobby horse have a wooden
Jesus Christ, man, mine didn't. What kind of fucked up toy company is making anatomically correct hobby horses? This movie had Sam fucking Elliott this whole time and is just choosing to introduce his character at the 46-minute mark?
You're too stupid to have a good time.
Oh, Dalton.
3, be nice.
Also, this is breaking rule number 2. Even though he eventually drags them outside, this definitely starts in the bar.
Give me the biggest guy in the world. You smash his knee, he'll drop like a stone.
But the same also goes for testicles, and they are much less likely to break your ankle in the process.
You live some kind of life, Dalton.
Too ugly for you.
I didn't say that.
She's a doctor in an ER in Missouri. I guarantee her life is filled with more blood, guts, broken bones, and missing teeth than yours is, Dalton.
We've been looking all over for you.
Which is odd, that you could have just looked across the fucking lake and seen him. How do these people not know where Dalton lives by now? It only took one night for Carrie to find him.
How much would it take to get you to come work for me?
There's no amount of money.
Ah, it must be villain attempts to bring the hero to the dark side, and the hero says, "F you," in an action movie o'clock. You can't play it, but this rural credit sin is brought to you by the Jeff Healey Band. This movie had Keith David this whole time and is just choosing to introduce his character at the 58-minute mark.
I'll take care of it.
If Dalton had a supplier hookup, then why didn't he bring this up the first time Wesley put some muscle on Tillman to hire the skimming bartender back? Wesley's goons mentioned the issue with getting booze if they didn't do things the way Wesley wanted them to. Don't mind me, just weirdly standing here by the Jeep on the off chance Dalton walks out of the bar. Why didn't I go inside and just talk to him, you might ask? Because then I wouldn't get to stand by a Jeep, of course. Again, we can't play it, but Dalton manages to find the station at the exact second These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding starts, as if the man ordained the following coitus into existence himself.
So how come you never got married?
I know Dalton has some history with married women, but I still can't understand why this was ever an appropriate thing to ask a woman you're dating seducing. You're basically saying, hey, there must be something wrong with you, so how about you convince me otherwise before I bail on your spinster ass? In 1987, Swayze was half responsible for all the people getting injured trying to catch their partner in the air while dancing. And I can't imagine all of the brick-imprinted asses he was partly responsible for in 1989 with this sex scene being recreated across the country. There should be a sign that says, never do what Swayze would do. Wesley, how's the beeping? Wesley, how's the beeping?
If you're smart, you'd pitch your tent.
I think he did.
Word is You've been spending time with Elizabeth Clay. You know who had a thing for Elizabeth Clay? Brad Wesley.
Damn, Dalton has some terrible luck in this town. Not only did he unknowingly fire Wesley's nephew, but he also unknowingly doinked the woman Wesley's been pursuing. It's as if the universe wrote them to be enemies.
I know you.
Why does everyone know these fucking bouncers?
You want to fight, Wes?
I sure ain't gonna show you my
I don't care what decade he's in, Sam Elliott fucks.
No, I'll show you a scar.
Ah, it must be heroes compare scars in an action movie o'clock. This vintage 80s watch plays all the hits.
Show you one I'm real sentimental about, Doc.
Yup, in this movie we see Sam Elliott's pubes. Is a sentence I had to say to my mother when I took her to see the latest Swayze flick in 1989. Forcing people that just want to eat their breakfast in peace to watch you dance.
And when a man sticks a gun in your face, you got two choices. You can die or you can kill the motherfucker.
Or you could just use your kung fu to disarm him and then call the cops. I'm just saying there are a couple of other options to entertain before ripping his throat out with your bare hand should even be on the table.
Don't mean to bust up the party or anything, but my shift starts in a couple hours.
You mean your shift as a f***ing doctor? I'm so glad you'll be making life and death decisions on 2 hours of sleep, a hangover, and the warm memory of Sam Elliott's phallus foliage.
Cause you can dance, honey.
This striptease goes on for 180 seconds, and you only truly appreciate how long 180 seconds are when you spend them watching a striptease with your mom in a theater in 1989. What's that, Dalton? Was that you giving the okay to fight in the bar? Need I remind you again?
2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar.
Never mind the humans, that pool cue survives this. If Jimmy is this good at fighting, then why wasn't he sent to deal with Dalton in the first place? Wesley even said at one point that he should have sent Jimmy. It's as if they know Jimmy is supposed to be Dalton's final fight before taking down Wesley. Did Wesley read the script? That's not how the conservation of motion works. Also, it's as if someone pitched another Every Which Way But Loose, and then someone else said, what if we mixed Every Which Way But Loose with Bloodsport, a movie I heard about also coming out in 1989. Then after all the cocaine was snorted up, they shook hands and history was made.
Dalton, you ought to check this out. Looks like Wesley wants to put a little something down on a new car.
You better come take a look at this cliche. Also, Dalton just happens to be driving by at the perfect time to catch Wesley having a monster truck drive through a car dealership. Does Wesley just go to places and wait on Dalton to randomly stroll by before he makes his point? Because it sure as feels like that's exactly what he's doing. All right, look, a fire is one thing, but how the is Wesley covering this up? Earlier, the townspeople said Wesley had the local sheriff in his pocket, but this should be national news. And how the hell is the insurance company going to pay up without a full criminal investigation? Is Wesley paying them off too? Premature celebration.
Tell me what I need. If you want to go, get the out of here and leave me alone.
We're supposed to like Dalton, right? Because currently he's proving to be a very shitty friend.
Dalton.
We're late for a house call, don't you think?
It definitely seems a little soon to have the first fight. Feels like they've known each other for about 20 minutes at this point.
I care about you, Dalton.
Bull. Skip.
You think you're gonna save these people from Brad Wesley? Well, who's gonna save them from you?
My emotional state is reflected by the perfectly timed explosion behind me. Also, if Brad Wesley really wants Dalton gone, then why didn't he blow up the barn where Dalton is staying? What does blowing Emmett's house up do for anyone? Isn't Wesley making money off all these people's lives? If he keeps blowing them up, there will be no lives to make money off of. The movie wants me to think Brad Wesley is a good businessman by showing me how terrible of a businessman he actually is. Also, setting a hardware store on fire and wrecking a car dealership with a monster truck is one thing, but this is literal premeditated murder, and still no police? Has he bought all the cops in the Midwest? Like this should be much harder to pull off. I know that because I've seen every episode of Ozark. Jimmy, better watch it. Dalton has his serious mug, serious abs, and serious sweatpants on. Everybody knows some kind of martial arts in the 80s cliche.
Prepare to die. You are such an asshole.
Dialogue! Also, he wouldn't need to prepare to die. He would already be dead if you nuts could blow up the correct residence.
I used to guys like you in prison.
Citation needed.
Damn, boy. I thought you were good. Go yourself.
Not sure that phrasing has the power behind it you think it does, Dalton. I think Jimmy would just take that comment as a personal challenge.
I'm gonna kill you the old-fashioned way.
I mean, when you're considering the life of the earth, guns had only been around since the 10th century, and an even shorter time in the United States. Killing the old-fashioned way in 1989 would probably be using a club of some sort, or a rock. Holy shit! Did I just watch someone's throat get ripped out in a Patrick Swayze movie? This movie is f***ing bonkers. I'm also tempted to give this a sin removal, but how the f*** is this guy not in prison? Not only has he killed 2 people, but he's killed them exactly the same way. Guy has a calling card. Also, the throat ripping is definitely framed as some sort of gut instinct knee-jerk reaction, and I'm calling BS on that. How the does ripping out an esophagus with your bare hands ever become muscle memory?
Wesley!
Wesley.
Hello? Top of the morning to you.
It's morning? You're telling me Dalton went from full-on throat ripping to getting a good night's sleep, a shower, and headed into work? You ripped a guy's goddamn throat out, Dalton. And apparently it's at least the second time you've done this. Can we just get a moment to process?
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Oh, yes, you are.
Dalton thinks this is the best way to get Doc to come with him. And the problem is for 90 minutes of the movie, we wouldn't even find this action from him believable. The movie sure as decided to all over his character building in the last 10 minutes. Also, if this is all Dalton was doing, then why wouldn't he have brought Wade with him? He left a beaten down and exhausted Wade alone, knowing there was a 50-50 chance Wesley was going to have killed him. But I'm sure all will be fine and he won't get back to find Wade. God damn it, Dalton! This guy appears to be enjoying his shotgun far more than I can reasonably reconcile. I'm struggling to buy that you could use a knife to keep the gas pedal depressed in this way, but even if you can, I don't buy that the knife stayed exactly where it needed to be after that flip, crash, and explosion. It's just kind of cute and silly at this point that any of these idiots think they could take Dalton down.
Tails again.
Dalton has no idea if this goon was in on the coin toss bit or wrote the note attached to Wade. Dalton could be wasting a perfectly good one-liner on this guy who will die having zero fucking clue what Dalton was talking about. I don't usually do this, but I need you all to watch this clip in its entirety. Sure, we could throw out a Prometheus school of running away from things gag here, but I think this needs something more. What the was this guy thinking? And what was that noise he made? Did he actually think the polar bear had come to life and was going to kill him? Did he think shooting it was going to help? How dumb do you have to be for this to work? And why did Dalton think this idea would work? Well, just rip the guy's throat out, spare him the embarrassment of this utter taxidermy.
So you found my trophy room, Dalton? The only thing that's missing is your ass.
I think Dalton has been reading the room all wrong. I think Wesley and his men, at the end of the day, are more interested in Dalton than fighting him.
I thought it would be fun to fight you, Dalton.
How the is Wade even holding his own in a fight with Dalton? This might be the movie's most unbelievable moment. And this is a movie where Patrick Swayze rips another man's throat out. This movie's version of character growth is murdering several people but stopping yourself from ripping the throat out of a man who killed your best friend and mentor. At this point, he should just lean into it and start collecting Adam's apples and making a necklace out of them like the asshole we know he is.
It's over!
This is our town, and don't you forget it.
The small business owners of Jasper, most murders per capita in Missouri, pulling a murder on the Orient Express? This movie is insane. Wow, she's really going to get past the throat ripping. Didn't see that coming.
All right. Who's going to tell me what the hell happened here?
I didn't see nothing. You see anything, Pete?
No, I didn't see anything.
This works. Yep, she definitely got past the throat ripping.
Go, get the seat view.
Shut up! Shut Shut up!
You know, I thought you'd be bigger.
I thought you were a dwarf.
Bummer. I forgot my crystal ball. Just a little psychic humor.
All you have to do is follow 3 simple rules.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
You're a bouncer.
Double deuce.
What the deuce?
All right, Nick. Don't panic. Think back to med school.
Well, that's why we're here.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
I used to guys like you in prison.
It's a weird flex, but sure.
Block his blind jab. Counter with cross to left cheek. Discombobulate. Dazed. Will attempt wild haymaker. Employ elbow block and body shot.
I'm gonna kill you the old-fashioned way.
Finish him! Fatality. Flawless victory.
This is a lovely room of death.
It's over!
Shut up, Wesley.